I thought I knew what being a Scrum Master was. Boy, was I wrong. Hey guys, it's Margaret here from Wow Coach. Today, real talk, I'm going to share with you my journey and my experiences when I first became a Scrum Master. I am going to be looking at my notes. I've got some notes here on my Remarkable because there's no way I will remember everything, so just bear with me. If you stick around for this whole video, I thank you so much, and hopefully there is something here that can, maybe there's something in my story that resonates with you. Again, as always, this is my experience. This is how I found it, and we're talking 10 years ago, like over a decade ago. This was my experience, and everybody's experiences are different, and I don't by any means want to say that your experiences, your journey, your way to get there is wrong. That is not what I'm going to do. I'm just sharing my experiences, my journey, how I got to where I am today, and maybe there's something there that resonates with you. So where do I start? Okay, so before I became a Scrum Master, I was working with a development team. I was in the team as a senior business analyst. I'd been a business analyst for working in agile development teams. I'd been a business analyst for 6-7 years, and I kind of was at the point where I was like, I'm not really enjoying this business analyst thing. It's good, but I'm not quite feeling that I'm in the right role for me. And so at the time, we'd had a new portfolio manager who had joined the company that I was with, and he said he was really interested as to the role of iteration managers and teams, because I was an iteration manager for the team. So it was my job to do all the reporting, and I ran the sprints for the team, but that was as far as it went, So we had at the time 6 development teams in the company, and they were made up of permanent employees and people that had been contracted in, so our contract partners. Each team had 2 business analysts, a senior and either an intermediate junior. It had 3 to 4 developers, with one of them being a senior tech lead, and it had 2 test analysts, with one of them being a senior as well. So we were pretty big, standard teams. I'm just trying to think of how many there were. So there was so 2, 3, 2. So we were 5 plus or minus 2, majority of teams. Some teams had 9 people, and they were big teams. I wasn't in a team with 9. That would have been a little bit unwieldy, but some of my colleagues at the time were. So the portfolio manager at the time, he kind of sat down with us and he talked to us about, what this role was as iteration managers. And he brought in a agile coach, because in those early days, a lot of us had some agility training with a company called SoftEd here in New Zealand. And when I first started my journey as a business analyst, the development teams then were just getting into working with agile ways of working and working with Scrum, and so like we only ever knew one way of doing things. Over a decade ago, I only ever knew one way of doing things, and this agile coach came in, and she has become one of the greatest friends that I could possibly ask for. She was an amazing mentor amazing teacher, and I'm very blessed to call her a friend. And it's like one day she may even join me on this Wow Coach journey, if our paths cross and have the ability to. But she came in and she sat down with all of our teams and she talked to all of us, and I really started to learn more about the world of underneath Agile. A lot of people talk about doing Agile and they don't understand that Agile in the true sense is just values and principles that we align to, and it's the methodologies and the frameworks that come underneath it. That's where you get the magic, right? And I had never heard about less. I'd never heard about lean. Kanban was so new to me. I only knew about Scrum and that we work in sprints and that we had all these things like stand-ups and elaborations and retrospectives, because those were the things as an iteration manager I had to run. I didn't even know about Scrum Masters, which was crazy because Scrum Masters are a concept that comes through a lot in Scrum. Like, you have Scrum Masters and you have product owners. We didn't have product owners in our teams, and we didn't have Scrum Masters. So the portfolio manager came through and he said, hey, what about this concept of Scrum Masters? Do you guys want to do this role? Do you want to give it a go? And I thought about it for a long time, and I kind of researched it a little bit. And I also had Lisa Adkins' Coaching Agile Teams book. And so, of course, I went home and I found the part there about Scrum Masters and what they did, and I read up on all of that. And then I went down that journey of saying, yeah, you know what? I want to give it a go. I'm going to do this Scrum Master role. Wow. What a shock I got. Just give me a second. Doing all this talking, I'm getting a bit of a dry throat. Sorry about that. But yeah, what a shock I got. Not because I found it difficult. Actually, the opposite. I loved it. I thought that doing this role would be easy, but it wasn't. It came with all its challenges, and it was hard. Like, first of all, I had to learn how to be a servant leader. I had to learn how to not be a business analyst anymore. I couldn't be the one driving all the conversations. I had to go to facilitating workshops. I had to be the one that learned, how to be quiet and enjoy the silence if I needed to, and know when to ask questions if I had to. That was massive for me. I basically took all of the things that I had learned as a business analyst and undid a lot of them, still bring a lot of them forward, like how to break down cards. I could show the team how to do that, how to break down stories, how to write gherkin, how to, in their documentation, and for their test cases, things like that. Because we wrote all of that together as a team. It wasn't up to one particular thing. Like, it wasn't just up to the BAs to do it. We transcribed everything, but as a team, we collectively wrote all of those and created all of that documentation, and I think my biggest struggle that I faced is that when it became official, when I officially became a Scrum Master in title, it was the fact that I had learned at such a speed. I had just jumped right into this world of being a Scrum Master. I started to research all about different types of metrics. Like, the only thing we ever knew about was burn downs, and that burn downs were the thing that we had to use all the time. Really sorry about the noise just now. There is a car a place off in the distance, so I am outside, as you can see, and we have industrial area around us, but anyway, I digress. So learning about different types of metrics, that was massive for me. Like cycle time, I think when I first started to get into it and learned about cycle time metric, it blew my mind. Like, how powerful is this? How powerful is lead time? How can we look at throughput? How do we know that we have delivered something that's valuable? You know, how do we actually get some good flow coming through with work that's coming onto the board? Like, it was being able to have the ability to do all these things and start to delve into some of these problems I'd seen as an iteration manager and a business analyst. It was amazing for me. Like, I loved it. But because I had gone full throttle into this, my colleagues, like my other 3 Scrum Master peers, they all kind of were at different stages to me. You know, we were all at different places. We all came from sort of different backgrounds. 3 of us were business analysts, 1 of us was a test analyst, and the 3 business analysts, we all picked different areas that we were going to focus on. Like, I was all good with team and people. My superpower is being able to read people and read the room. I absolutely love facilitating conversations. I love inspiring other people and watching them grow. It was just in my wheelhouse. I mean, when I was in high school, I originally wanted to be a teacher. You know, I went to university to learn how to be an English teacher. I didn't do my teaching degree, but I did have my Bachelor of Arts majoring in English. But, you know, I kind of felt like I was coming back full circle, because here was an opportunity for me to be able to teach, inspire, coach, really lean into my purpose in life. And it was the best thing ever. But I did learn really early on that because of my enjoyment in this role, because I was so excited about it, it actually came across to my peers as if I thought I was better than them. And really early on, we had some conversations where I had to really apologize and explain myself a little bit. And the amazing thing is that we were all on a journey, right? We were all on learning journeys. We were all at different places, and they were more than okay with where I was at. And there was nobody had to eat humble pie. Everybody was super supportive of each other, but it was really hard. Again, we were so fortunate that the agile coach that had been brought in the earlier days, she was our people lead, and so she really helped teach us and helped us grow. She introduced us to Jimmy Jan Lin. She introduced us to Esther Derby, to Roman Pilcher. There are so many people, Brené Brown, you know, like all of those names, Diana Larson with her kickoff series. We read Creating New Teams by Sandy Mamoli and David Bland, you know, here in New Zealand. We got to meet them as well. I was so fortunate that on this journey I was even given the opportunity to go to Australia and meet Esther Derby and be able to be coached by Esther Derby. Like, that was so massive for me back then. You know, so I am so blessed to have met to have had those experiences. I also know that for me, I had a super supportive family at home. You know, for my husband and for my kids, they saw this as a really cool thing for me. They've seen me grow. They saw how happy this made me. They also knew, you know, that it meant that I wasn't having to do the same hours that I had done in the past. Hello. Just had a little cat come and join me. Can you see it? Yes, we can, and there it goes. Anyway, we had all these sorry, the cat has just thrown me a little bit, but anyway, I guess this is real talk and this is what it's all about, right? So my family benefited so much from me changing my role. I wasn't stressed out, and I'd been in burnout before, and this was a role that meant I didn't have to be burning out. Like, I really enjoyed being in that role. I love working with teams, I love working with people, I loved the coaching, the one-on-one coaching element, and that's where Wow Coach kind of came from. It was from my early days as a Scrum Master. So yeah, I wish I'd known about this role earlier, but hey, things come to you when they're meant to come to you, right? And I am a big believer in that. One thing that I will say is if this is something that you want to do, if you want to go into being a Scrum Master, please learn and understand the role, and don't just go for certifications, because there is far more to the role of a Scrum Master than just getting your CSM. I didn't sit any certifications until about 3 years ago. I sat my CSM and did my advanced CSM. I was thankful that I had years of experience coming into them, because it teaches you only the basics and only the foundational pieces, as it should. You have to be willing to not just learn what's in front of you, but also go and explore, because that is where as a Scrum Master you will be successful. Just be curious, keep your mind open to new opportunities, new things that can come out there. Don't be scared to challenge anything. Learn the basics first, learn those foundational pieces, learn what it's like. Get a copy of Lisa Atkins' book if you have to. I mean, it talks about Scrum Masters in there and coaching agile teams in there. Watch videos. Jimmy Janlin has a whole bunch on his YouTube channel and Agile with Jimmy that's all about flow and story points and all that kind of thing. Have a look at Mountain Goat Software with Mike Cohen. So many great resources out there for us as Scrum Masters now. But yeah, don't just think that once you've got your CSM that you're a Scrum Master, because there is more to it than just doing your CSM. So yeah, that's I guess a little bit about my backstory as a Scrum Master. That's kind of where I started and how I got to where I am. Again, these are my experiences. I know I've probably just waffled a lot. If you've got through to the end of this, thank you so much for sticking around. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share this with other people that you think could benefit from just hearing a real story. This isn't, I'm not trying to add any embellishments to it. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody's path is different. Just do what works for you. And so if you're embarking on a Scrum Master journey now, good luck. Stay curious, be kind, be open, and yeah. And I will see you guys next time.